So I think this is probably even more difficult than the previous one. I think I have got about 10 minutes to speak. I have no idea on what next 10 minutes would be. Just keep nodding your head, after every 2, 3 minutes, showing hands. I'll know that at least one of you is listening, right? And I think that's motivation enough. Oh, I see 3, 4 people already shaking and raising their hands. Thank you so much. So, how many of you read the agenda? Let's start with that. How many of you read the agenda? 1, 2, 10. Nobody from the first table. No, now I see hands. Uh, Left corner, some people read the agenda. This table, a couple of my friends sitting, I don't think so. They would have read the agenda. Know them fairly well. Perfect. Thank you, sir. What was my session introduced as? Because, a special session, I got worried when I saw that, but actually, thankfully, the email said it's on cloud trends. So I thought, let's try and do what Nostradamus used to do, right? Predict future. Uh, Otherwise, there's nobody else who could predict what trends was, right? I know, again, a good old friend Bill Gates said that in the future, a 2 GB hard disk would be the maximum storage you would need. That was late 90s, and today I don't even know, on how. At least my mathematically ability stops me to analyze what the size of hard disk could be in the future. So what I did was probably the easiest thing. I picked up some random quotes from left, right, and center, and I thought we'll try and make some sense of the next 10 minutes, right? So we've discussed this since morning on what are the new cloud trends. So a question to the audience, and I don't know if Soumya is around to pass any prizes around. A small software company called Zoom. We've all used Zoom, video conferencing, meetings. Am I audible? Can you see me? Right? Yes? Thank you. Perfect. What is the change in Zoom's valuation since pandemic? And what is the valuation now? Anybody? Zoom, please don't Google. I can see people on phone. Please, you won't get it on Google, by the way. It's not a listed company. So, sorry? 5 billion? So that roundabout was Zoom's valuation when we were just about to hit pandemic. About January of 2020, that's what it was valued at. What's the valuation today? 50? It's about 42, 43 billion dollars. And what I'm told is that it's valued more than the top 3 global US airlines. So that's how you put a product on cloud, you make it easy to use for everybody. That's how your valuation goes. So one of the top trends, that's why I thought, was seizing the opportunity. Very, very important. How do you look at the customer? How do you look at business? And how do you take advantage of that? Right? My fellow panelists spoke about understanding the business and moving with the opportunity. Gone are the days when you would spend 3 months, 6 months doing beta testing of your product, right? Your competitor would come up with a product in the blink of an eye, and then you're always playing catch up, right? People on Microsoft, people using Microsoft, all right? See what Teams did, all right? You don't say that you're going to an online meeting. You say that you're going to a Teams meeting. It's become synonymous with online meetings. That's seizing the opportunity. And what did they do? They put a product on cloud which everybody could connect to. Seamless, serverless. I heard a new word today in the morning called borderless. So we're living in a borderless world, right? There are no borders anymore. Similarly, we'll move to a seamless and serverless model. My panelists spoke about modernizing your entire database applications, moving from legacy to the cloud. It's a trend that's going to be there. And increased focus on cloud security. I think, how many of you are from Delhi? 1, 2. So are we the only 2 people from Delhi? Very surprising. I don't know if it's prevalent in Bombay, but in Delhi, every second day we get a message saying, our electricity power will be disconnected because we've not paid the bills. which is obviously a hook, right? Or some kind of this message. So the focus on security is always going to be there, right? It cannot be an afterthought. If you pick up any newspaper, believe me, the number of board meetings I go to, the number of CEO, CFO meetings I do, they only tell me one thing: just breathe. I don't want to get up and see my name in the newspaper because of a breach, because of a data breach. That's the last thing a company wants to go through from a brand perspective. Uh, More than 85% of organizations will embrace a cloud first principle by 2025. I think it's probably it's a study done by Gartner. I think maybe true globally. In India, we could still probably look at a 65 to 70% number on realistically, given the way we are embracing the entire cloud trend. I thought let's make a table. Life in 2020 versus life in 2025. Uh, Popular computing style was non-cloud. It's now clouds everywhere, right? Everything I do, everything is on cloud, right from my iPhone, my photographs to my meeting notes, emails, everything today sits on cloud. Uh, it was all about technology. People spoke about public cloud, private cloud, how do I move to a hybrid cloud, etc., to business first, right? I have to serve the people first. What's my business objective? And then tie up with the cloud or my digital strategy. And that's why you'll see in a lot of boards, you've now got people like chief digital officers, chief cloud officers, actually having a say in the strategy of the firm, right? Because if they are not aligned, then again you are going in two directions. Somebody gets up and moves to the west, and somebody gets up and moves to the east. Uh, Private cloud to intentional multi-cloud, could be because of vendors, could be because, of efficiencies, cost, etc. One size will not fit all. So you need to look at your organization and decide what works best for you. Look at shared services and go to teams, and also look at distributed cloud, no centralized cloud, bring in business resilience. My esteemed speaker before me spoke about the entire business resilience piece. There's a standard called ISO 22301 on which organizations can actually certify towards business resilient. And if you're adopting cloud, that's a very decent standard to adopt to. A little busy slide, but again, I thought let's also talk about what could be the potential trends in the next 2 to 5 years. So, increased multi-cloud integration. A lot of times you thought, is this compatible with this cloud? Is this compatible with this vendor? I think that will just go out of the window, right? You'll have to come to a system where, like an architecture bus, you'll have APIs and you'll have to connect all of them together. You'll not have systems which are not compatible to each other, right? It does not bring in economies of scale. From a cost benefit perspective, from a ROI perspective, it's a complete failure. Scaling up of containers, decline of latencies. I think there are lots and lots of applications will never move to the cloud. Sorry for saying this, but applications where there are latency issues will probably never ever move to the cloud. They will remain on-prem, right? And then we can talk about some of those examples. And I've tried to make a table from 2020 to 25 on how will cloud versus traditional infrastructure move. If you see, by 2025, I think only 28%, only 48% would remain on traditional infrastructure, and 52% probably will move to the cloud from an India perspective. But why now, right? Somebody said we've been talking about cloud from 95 types, when you used to call it managed data center or managed or shared services, right? I think with the emergence of Web 3.0, we're moving to a very high touchy, feely kind of environment, right? Where I want to embrace metaverse. How many of you have experienced metaverse, by the way? 1, 2, 3, maybe about 5% of everybody sitting here, right? Cloud will play a very, very big piece if we move to the entire metaverse of high touch, high margin, and high commitment. From where are we moving from, right? We are moving from a place where it was low touch, low margin, and absolutely zero commitment, or a self-service kind of model. New application opportunities, we've spoken about metaverse, blockchain. I want to do everything myself, as a service, which is all your interactive applications and parallel data processing. However, with this will come challenges like, for example, in financial institutions, you've got data localization challenges. All of these will continue to come in, and then we'll have to see how does the regulatory landscape evolve. Even our personal data protection bill was, rolled back. How does that bill come in place? And what if I have to store all my employee records on cloud? Where will cloud store that data? Would become a very, very interesting discussion point, and that will probably shape a lot of trends in India, especially on what will I move to the cloud and what will remain on prem or within my this thing. Rise of data analytics and extension of compute intensive desktop applications, which I said, some applications like if you go to a traditional manufacturing organization which uses AutoCAD to design your car systems, right? Those high resolution maps, etc. They will or research for a pharma company. Some of these pieces would probably never move to the cloud. Just an illustrative model. I thought, since everybody's been talking about security since morning, I thought let's put a model in place. Being a security guy at the heart, we'll have to have minimum baseline security standards. Is all I want to say, right? If you don't have minimum baseline security standards, whatever you do in cloud, you will always keep falling. Somebody mentioned, do you read contracts when you sign up with your cloud service provider? They'll give you a report which is like publicly available. That report will go to all 10,000 vendors. But God forbid if something goes wrong, it's your brand name out there. It's your personal reputation out there, right? Because of a data breach. A lot of times people don't remember if the breach happened because of a cloud service provider, but they remember the name of the company which suffered the breach. So be very, very cognizant of when you take a decision and whether you want to adopt any model listed below, starting from public to moving to a SaaS-based model. I thought just my last slide, it's like preaching to the choir, but I thought, if you see in blue is something which is in-house, rest everything moves. I think the best model currently to go for as emerging technologies is to look at software as a service, where everything right from your networking to applications is being delivered as a service. I think I have time to take probably 2 questions. Thank you so very much. Yes, sir, please. I think. Easy questions, please.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Varun Gupta. My question is towards migration, towards selection of multi-cloud. Basically, any cloud provider you go to, he will promise you everything, whether it is resiliency, whether it is security and safety of the data, whether it is durability. Everything is promised by every cloud vendor. And they would say that there is a DR site available and there is adequate levels of redundancy which is available. However, we see a common trend now in the industry that most of the, whomever you speak to, that whether they have migrated to the cloud, yes, they have migrated to the cloud. And they have eventually said that multi-cloud. What is the requirement of multi-cloud when every cloud provider is promising that they are able to give you the whole world and the works?
Interesting question. I think somebody from actually the cloud fraternity would be better suited to answer this, but I can probably tell you the only reason is you want enough redundancies, right? You don't put all your eggs in one basket. Even if everybody promises 100, nobody says 100%, but everybody says 99.99% uptime, you still wouldn't want to take that chance, right? Even if that one incident occurs and that cloud goes down, you don't want your business suffering. Because it's not only financial impact that you face, right? It's brand impact. It could be a regulation, like few of the banks found out in India. So it's always better that you scatter your risks to a multi-cloud environment.
My recommendation would be to keep certain risk with me in my premises on-prem and give to offload to one cloud vendor, because the more cloud vendors you get in, the more security you are dealing, the more complexities increase, and then the inherent security of the system goes down, because you are having
So
a
that's the first question then you need to answer. Even before you answer multi-cloud, first you have to see what will you keep in-house on-prem versus what you will move to the cloud. Once you've taken a decision saying this is what I'll move to the cloud, then it's better that you scatter your investments to various service providers and move to a multi-cloud environment.
You'll be managing those many more key
But-
infrastructures and PKIs in all clouds.
See, world is getting complex. You can't help it, right? Even today, if you look at it, I feel pity for all the security professionals, all the CIO, CISOs, CDOs, CTOs out there, right? You manage your on-prem, you manage all your vendors, you manage contracts with them, and then you have your SLAs monitoring. It's getting complex, but that's, if you want resilience, right? So it's also what you want. You want resilience, you want security, you want peace of mind. Then you'll have to walk the extra mile.
Thank you.
I'm Pramod. Is there cloud portability will come, like mobile portability?
Sorry, I could not.
Cloud portability will come, like it's mobile portability. Currently, we can shift one operator to another.
This is a true Nostradamus question. Will cloud portability come? I don't know. Maybe, there are much more experienced people in cloud, but I don't think so. Cloud portability would be that easy, right? If you come to me, I'm a cloud service provider. Why would I let you go so easily to another cloud service
But
provider?
it's like mobile service provider also same thing. But government come into picture and they need this.
I probably, is there somebody from the government? Probably they would be the best guys to answer this. If I'm a cloud service provider and you are hosted with me, I'll make your life miserable if you want to move out. Sorry, that's the way business runs.